I want to share some insight with you that can absolutely help you with your financial situation if you use it and resolve to use it until you're successful. I don't know if you've noticed, I'm sure you have, but we've got a massive debt problem here. Not just the government, but people in general. Most people are in debt. Seriously, indentured servants and many of them indentured students at the same time because they spent all that year and or all that time going to school and all that money going to school to get a job that pays them about half of maybe what it should because of the mess of the economy and so on. And most people just end up in this very dire place financially, paycheck to paycheck, less than that. A lot of people can't afford to take care of themselves by themselves, so they have to take on a roommate. A lot of my friends are in that boat, and it's out of, they do things out of necessity. Life becomes I've got to instead of I get to, and people just struggle to survive. I want you guys to come out from that, survive, and then struggle to thrive. It's a much better place to be, and it's totally, totally doable. So I'm going to share some insight that I hope just lights you up, turns you on. It leads to a discovery that you make that helps you change everything that you need to change. Okay, first I want you to understand that in America, um, you're going to be paid according to the value that you bring to the marketplace. And it doesn't mean that you're going to get paid according to the skill set that you have or the level of that skill set that you have. The most common thing in this country is an educated derelict, unfortunately, but that's the facts. Skill by itself is not valuable. I think everybody knows that it requires action and the right action too, but skill, wisdom, knowledge, all that stuff by itself, uh, it, by itself, it holds no value. Now, here's the problem with our country today. I'm sure all of you know about offshoring jobs to cheap labor in places like China, India, Pakistan, and places like that. They don't have working standards over there. They don't have the benefits that we demand in our own country. They don't have OSHA. They have child sweatshops and things like that. The manufacturing industry and the technology industries, those I think have been hit, well, I know they've been hit the hardest, and most of those jobs are no longer in our country, they're way over there. And the few that are here, as well as other sectors of business, they don't pay what they used to pay. They pay very little, and people with those jobs typically have to live with a roommate or they have to get money from somewhere else to just get by. It's terrible. It's really, really bad. Now, a lot of people, there's a ton of smart, educated people in our country. Most of them, unfortunately, are derelicts. They're not being paid much money. Just because you have a skill set, it doesn't mean that you're valuable to the marketplace. I know that sounds really backwards, but you could have a PhD in something that has absolutely no value to the marketplace. Because if an employer can offshore that skill set in a job to, say, China or India at just a fraction of the cost, most of them do that so they can pass the cost on to their consumers because we're all looking to save a buck, right? And in the end, that sort of slits our own throats. We got to be willing to pay a fair price for our stuff, but that's another conversation for another day. But for right now, you guys and gals out there that are struggling, here's my advice. Since we know that a skill set doesn't equate to value in the marketplace, which value in the marketplace is how you get paid. If you want more money, you need to become more valuable. Not necessarily more skillful, but more valuable. So here's what you do. You need to learn to work harder on yourself than you do your job. I'm talking good old-fashioned personal growth and development, even just a little bit every day. Because here is how success works in the universe. This isn't just America, but this is a universal law. Success is something that you attract by the person that you become. So it makes sense for me to get my words straight. It makes sense to work harder on yourself than you do your job because success is something that you attract by the person you become. So become an attractive person. Easy conceptually. And to become an attractive person, work harder on yourself than you do your job. If you just work on your job and there's no investment in yourself, then when that job is gone, you're screwed. And a lot of people are screwed right now. Most of you are in a complete mess financially. But you can change all of that. I mean, I'm a genuine optimist. A genuine optimism comes in two parts in my mind. The first part is to be honest with yourself about the mess that you're in. Recognize it, see it for what it is, be present in the moment. It takes guts. Then the second part of genuine optimism is to see your way out of the mess, you know? And the best way to see your way out of the mess is to start getting involved, engaged in your own personal growth and development. Get off the sidelines and onto the playing field of your own life. Don't work just on your job, work on yourself, because success is something that you attract by the person that you become. And from there, if you develop a skill set or take advantage of an opportunity, you're going to do it much more effectively. You're going to have more influence, you're going to have more pull. And if something were to happen to that opportunity, something at no fault of your own, you're going to be in a much better position to reestablish yourself elsewhere. And in my opinion, the best thing that anybody could ever do, especially when it comes to money and owning your income and owning your life and your destiny, is just that: own your income. You will never own your income working a job. You can work a job if you want to because you love it, whatever the job is, and so on and so forth, the people you work with. But if that's all that you have is a job, then you don't own any part of your income. Therefore, you have to be okay with your income leaving you and going to China or Pakistan. So even at the very least, something on the side that you own in case, God forbid, something happens to your income, you're probably going to be okay then. And because you own your income, that absolutely requires personal growth and development, working harder on yourself than you do your job or this thing you got on the side. You do that, you're going to become an attractive person. You're going to be like a magnet, attracting success to you. Opportunities, doorways will open that just doesn't seem to open for people that are quote unquote not as lucky as you. That's a bunch of garbage. The people that say that are people that are not terribly involved in their own life and personal development. They're not becoming an attractive person, so they're not attracting the kind of success that they want, the doorways, the opportunities. That's just the way it is. So if you want that kind of stuff, work harder on yourself than you do your job. In this economy, it's exposing that universal law more so than it's ever been exposed, ever. And there's more people opening up and subscribing to that and doing wonderful things with their life. But unfortunately, there's still millions and millions and millions of people that are just going back for more, staying on the same old plan that has been validated to not work year after year after year. Why so many people do that is beyond me. It staggers the imagination, and I got quite the imagination, let me tell you. Bottom line, man, if you're chasing sunsets running east, you're never going to come out of this, ever. Start working harder on yourself than you do your job, and realize that you get paid according to the value that you bring to the marketplace. If you want to be paid more, become more valuable. Skill set does not equal value all the time. It just doesn't. It's certainly an important component to value, but it's not everything. That's my message. Work harder on yourself than you do your job. Drill that into your brain. Read 10 pages of a good life-changing book every day. After the course of a year, that's 3,600 pages. Do you think by then you're going to be brainwashed in a positive way to respond differently to things that happen to you that you have no control over? Absolutely you will. Listen to good audio, 15 or 20 minutes or so a day, or whatever the amount of time is that you're in your car. Instead of listening to the radio and the Billboard Top 50 or whatever it is, put in a good self-help audio CD. Anything by Jim Rohn or Tony Robbins or Zig Ziglar or Brian Tracy, Les Mills, all of that stuff is golden. I mean, listen to those guys speak every day, and a year from now, you're going to be a different person. That's working on yourself more than you work on your job. You become more valuable to the marketplace, therefore you get paid more. Become more of an attractive person, therefore you attract more opportunity into your life. That's how you do it. I hope that helps. Do it. It works. It really does. Once I started doing it, everything for me changed. It really did. Bye.